Okay, everybody, welcome back. Listen, I am like so hopped up on caffeine. And Jason, you're asking me questions about things I know pretty well.
Right.
Now, the last thing was a lot to chew on, what we were just talking about. What I have spent so much time of my life is understanding to the best, understanding to the best of my ability, okay, what allows me to be here. And there are a relatively small amount of laws, which I have found, that define this thing we are experiencing. This paper is a large culmination of these things coming together.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
If you think clearly for a while about what I wrote, and I know it's a lot to handle because it's like, oh, non-locality of consciousness, and then the universe is expanding, and we exist within it, and then free will, and all these other things. If you slow it down for a moment, you begin to realize that there are many of these laws, essentially of existence, that are layered into one another.
Yes. Yeah.
This idea, and we have to think about this simply now, and I'm really slowing it down this episode. In order for something to be a law, okay, it has to exist perfectly.
Immutable,
doesn't change over course of time, nothing. It has to exist like that perfectly everywhere at all moments. Now, if you have two laws, law number one must flow into law number two. And law number two cannot counteract law number one. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a law. This is a difficult thing for human beings to understand because when we understand laws are like, it's black and white, start and finish right here. But really, for something to be a law and to have multiple of them, all of these things that come together stack into themselves, like nesting eggs or babushka dolls that you find from Russia. All right? So you have to see those within those elements. And when you're going through this paper that I have written, it's broken down in stages to carry through, right? To say, okay, I see the thought processes that bring from step one to step two. But it's going to require a large compounded thought of logical sequences and laws that come together to create one fundamental idea of this paper. That's the goal. And in 8 short pages, I had to make sure nothing that I was writing, not one word, was contradicting a statement I made before. And that things that seem like different ideas actually all flow together into one unified idea.
Right.
That is a process of how we need to live our lives. And if you can see that unification, which I've tried to do on paper, now you start to understand what love is. Don't sing the song. Because that impulse, Jason, the energy of those ideas which flow through each other, once you see that interconnectedness, now you understand what love actually is.
Yeah. Yes. I feel like, and I want to start with this question. I feel like there needs to be, and bear with me here, don't interrupt me when I ask the question, because you're going to want to, I'm baiting you so hardcore right now.
You're chumming in waters.
Are you ready?
You're chumming.
Consciousness and material experience. So let me ask a question. How do you reconcile, big word, how do you reconcile the traditionally materialistic view of consciousness with your more immaterial aspect that you wrote in that? So material experience and consciousness.
Very good question. Very good question. The way we've defined consciousness in a medical term is that I'm awake. I'm observing things. The brain has energy signatures going through it to determine that it is on. Motor functions are occurring in the body, all of those great things. That is the material aspect of our consciousness. But, like our universe, we see all these galaxies, correct? But those amount for almost less than 1% of the total material stuff that allows existence to be. Much like your eyes can only see in a limited spectrum, there's still a greater spectrum of things you can't see but absolutely do exist. As a fact, as an irrefutable fact, those things exist. Dark matter can't see it, can't measure it, but it exists.
Yeah.
Has to be there to fill the void. So with your mind, and when you start to understand if you have cause and effect, let's preform this first. You have cause and effect, correct?
Right.
Say cause is a positive. Think about it in math. It's a positive. An effect is a negative. These two things are opposites because one thing had to start something else. So a nothing created a something. They're opposites in each other.
Yes, they have to be.
They have to be.
It's a law.
To create an equilibrium.
Yeah.
Which is also a law.
Yeah.
Okay? And they have to interact, which is also a law. And there's a motion between cause to effect.
Right.
In my brain or the universe, if there are galaxies that take up space, there is a non-space thing that also exists, which I can't measure. There is an aspect of the human being we can see and another aspect we cannot see. We have the physical part of our consciousness, which we have measured and understood for a long time, but now have come to realize that it can access things we cannot measure. So that tells you we've only had 50% of the picture of a material consciousness, and we have ignored the other 50% that is a requirement for it to be there to exist, to allow the material to exist.
Yeah,
it has to have a counterpart. Your brain has how many hemispheres?
Two.
2 hemispheres.
Yeah.
Positive, negative, right, left. All of these things have to exist. They have to be in balance. I'm sitting in a chair right now. And I know I got to keep this slow, but there's a lot that goes through here. I'm sitting in a chair. I'm not actually touching the chair. I'm floating above it at a very thin level because there's a force.
Right.
There's an interaction between me as a material body against the chair itself, and there's pressures counteracting. But one of us will have a greater pressure. And if mine was great enough, I would fall through it. I'd break those things apart. Again, these things exist in different balances, but again, equalize each other to allow me to sit here stably in an equilibrium on this chair and have this conversation.
But that's the material experience. Consciousness goes through the chair.
Consciousness goes through the chair.
It doesn't look at that as, I know you don't like this word, but on the material experience, my belief that it's a chair and it's going to hold me stable is what keeps me.
Absolutely. It's the idea.
Yeah. Exactly.
So now you're getting into another interesting part. I go to have an idea. That idea does not become something unless I act upon it, correct?
Yes.
So it starts here internally. This idea of electricity, light bulb, telephone, all these elements.
I'm Michael Faraday.
Okay? Faraday cage, right? A Faraday cage. Those things don't exist until somebody has the idea to make them exist.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Rigby does not exist until the parents come together and procreate to create a Jason Rigby.
Right.
There has to be a form, a nothingness to exist before a somethingness exists.
Yes.
So in order for my physical consciousness to be here, a very non-physical consciousness has to exist before it.
Has to. I mean, even if you're atheist and logical, that makes sense.
Of course it does. You will rack your brain trying to find some sort of area where what I am saying is untrue.
Yes.
But I am sharing with you an absolute.
To think that there would be a material experience without a programmer, it doesn't work.
No.
You can't have the human experience without the past, present, and future being there.
Let me ask you.
Which is, and there has to be a higher level of consciousness, because how would it work? Like the Big Bang, we talked about that last episode.
I was just about to talk about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
This thing that exploded. Where did it explode? I'm asking you. Where did it explode?
In the universe, but
it just blew up.
Right.
Okay, from some central point. Where did that central point of energy exist? Did it exist inside another universe?
Mm-hmm.
Or would it have to have existed inside of nothing? I want you to reconcile this idea, okay? Because it's an idea. that I'm sitting here, blank slate in my mind, and then all of a sudden something pops in,
Right.
an impulse.
Where did that come from?
Where did that come from? But it came out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing there, but this idea shows up. I have a big bang. It was existing in something that is absolutely nothing.
All great inventors have said this. That just popped in their head. Tesla, all of them.
Correct. And then they take that and turn it into something material.
Yes.
The Big Bang shows up out of a nothingness, out of pure nothingness. And this isn't, I'm not going to get into it.
But
I
I also want people to understand the vastness of the universe is we're making the Big Bang to be a big thing. But I mean, how many universes are created? And then how many does it unfold on itself? And then
too many.
And how much abundance is there? I mean, how fast is the universe growing? I mean, I have to look it up.
144 times the speed of light. It's huge. It's so fast.
Like our brains can't comprehend that.
No,
so, I mean, and then I don't know how many Big Bangs have happened, but I imagine there's happening all the time. Too many
for you to count.
Yeah. So,
but what
if you look at that, if you look at that vastness, you have to say that there's logically, you have to come to the conclusion that there's a consciousness above what is just material. Like, why would it be operating? It has to operate. Anything has to operate under laws. A computer has.
Off of an idea.
Yes. Yeah.
The physical cannot exist without an idea. Jason Rigby did not exist without the idea of two people coming together to copulate and love and create a Jason Rigby.
Right.
Our governments did not exist until there was an idea. All of these things, everything, started from an idea, out of nothing.
Yes.
And through that process, with consciousness, we've only viewed it as a physical thing. But its prime function, the real weight of its existence, happens very non-materially.
As in remote viewing.
As in remote viewing. As in our ability to connect with information that, for us, moving through time, our experiences and going into the future, but it's accessing what has already occurred. Why? Because the idea of the game has already been set in place. We are now just playing it out. It is a dance. It is just an idea. We put so much weight, so much burdening weight on ourselves, our minds as human beings, when we don't realize how freeing it is to think about the other instance of life that is not seen.
Okay, because this is my next question. Because you talk about that consciousness allows for the experience of past, present, and future events. You know, outside of our bounds of human time and position. You said that conscious allows for the experiencing. The allows.
I'm walking around in my body, okay? I have so much anxiety waiting to have a meeting with my boss, or telling someone I have to break up with them, or whatever the hell it might be. Or I'm so excited because something great's about to happen. Why are you waiting to experience those feelings? You can feel all of that right now in your consciousness. Do not feel like you have to wait and put these pressures of time upon yourself.
Yes, I get it. Yeah.
The life can actually be experienced in its totality in one single moment. But you have been conditioned to thinking that you must wait for the outcomes of these things to occur and then to reactively deal with it when your whole life can be totally proactive. Do you know what's better than a cure?
Okay. This is really big.
You know what, in medicine?
I mean, how many phone calls do you get a day where somebody's being reactive to you?
All the time.
What percentage of phone calls are you getting?
Almost all of them.
Yeah.
Literally almost all of them.
Yeah. So this reactive state is a denial of the unseen conscious. Why is somebody so caught up in the present experience?
Because they're conditioned. If no one ever told you, Jason, if you and I never met, okay?
Right.
You never read this paper.
Right.
And you never had any fucking concept that there's a whole function of life which you cannot see.
Yeah, I think it would be fragmented. My spirituality would be fragmented. Yeah.
Your life would be fragmented. You couldn't piece it all together.
Right.
And because you couldn't do that, it'd become frustrating. And
Yeah.
you would just live through the conditioned life which you're currently in.
Right.
You'd be reactive to life. When you go to create something, you're procreating, right? Isn't that what it's called as a species?
Yes.
We're not recreating human beings. They come and go. We procreate new ones all the time. Life at its core is not reactive. The existence of our species does not happen from being in a reactive state. It happens from being in a proactive state. Do you know why our medicine sucks? Because it's reactive. We are focused on cures
Yes.
rather than prevention.
So we're going to the past, saying that that is real, that the past is real, gaining lessons from that, and then turning around and creating a reactive state.
Yes.
And then we're hoping that that will further the future.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, obviously we can learn from the past. I can read a biography on Michael Faraday right now and learn lessons.
You'll learn
Of
something.
course. Yeah. But what you're saying is, if you tap into this consciousness,
You're not learning anymore. Do you want to know what you're doing? You're remembering. I'm not here on this microphone, much like you are, to teach people anything. We are here to just remind people of what they already know.
it's the veil. Yeah.
Man is the measure of all things in creation. If you pay attention to the measure of what you are, you will see every law. You will understand how all these things function, how they all interweave amongst themselves. And it's not anything novel. It's always been there. You just haven't been looking, you haven't been seeing it.
You get to be, in your terminology, God.
Yeah, you get to be extremely wise. That's correct,
Yeah.
Jason. The goal here, again, is not to learn new things, but to remember what you already know and then perfect that remembering. Why? Because we are aging into the past. There is no new learning. There is only amassing the energy of what already allows you to be.
So let's get into human evolution then, and understanding of, in terms of evolving thought-based and material-based. So, because most of the reactive, there's an event that happens, I react. Okay, we'll use somebody in my family gets into a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're okay, but it's still dramatic. I get a phone call, it's reactive. You know, like that other person on the line is crying or whatever. There's a reactive moment. My thought instantly goes, are they safe? Is everybody okay?
Mm-hmm.
My thought instantly responds to the reactive. Do you see what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
And so my material-based form develops this knot in my stomach. I'm worried. Does this make sense?
Oh, it absolutely
And
does.
what I'm getting at. So my question to you is, in your paper, how does human evolution respond to these evolving thought-based and material-based forms?
It doesn't. It acts into it. This is an interesting concept. The information's already there.
Yeah. Okay. So everything's already there.
It's already there. So the question is, are you going to react to something, or are you going to know it ahead of time and then already pre-adjust to the event occurring? So then the way you handle it is not going to be in a responding format,
Right.
but you're procreatively adjusting to it. You can then equalize the situation in your mind and in the physical. You won't feel the knot. You create an equilibrium by going about it. You're essentially feeling the energy signature first, pre-adjusting the body to an event that is going to happen, and then working through it, not reactively, but you're already pre-adjusted in your decision-making for what to do when the event does happen.
So there's a contradiction here, and I want us to get into this with non-duality teaching. It's denying the fact. It's like denying reality. It's like saying, well, you know, my feelings don't really matter because that really didn't happen. It doesn't really exist. You know, the only truth that is, you know, and some people listen to Course in Miracles and all this stuff, and there's a lot of non-duality teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And non-duality states that, and I get it. I get their their process of it not being real. I understand that like your reactive thought is not really real. You know, you've created that emotion. So I understand their premise, but it almost gets to the point to where it's like denying reality. Like, you know, like if somebody is in a car accident, something happened physically.
It did happen.
Yeah. I can't deny that. Now, what you're saying is, if I have enough knowledge that I can tap into, then my reaction, the only thing I have 100% responsibility for myself. So the only thing that I could do is control my reaction.
And things aren't reactions for you. They're energy that allows you to procreate. This is a learning experience simply.
Yeah.
It's a remembrance of how you should operate. Otherwise, you forget. If you let this jar you and send you off in some sort of spiral, you've completely forgotten how to live.
I did a podcast with that lady yesterday, Corey, and she's like, triggers are the biggest spiritual blessings that you can have because it's just a realization.
That's all it is.
That's what she said. A trigger is just a realization of what work needs to be done.
But what's the word? Realize?
Yeah, it's realize. Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's 100% real. What is happening is real. Non-duality, you cannot ignore the fact or say that you live above this material existence. Wrong. You're absolutely 100% within it.
Your higher self does. Maybe
Are there?
too, but I mean, yeah, and there's beings that are living in that, but
sure,
we're not there.
But you're not there. If, under a very small likelihood, you come from a very old consciousness and spirit and chose to squeeze back into this experience, that is not everybody. And egos will jump out and say, yeah, that's me. I'm a wanderer. I do all these things. No, you're not. You're not. It is so important for us to recognize we cannot rush evolution.
Yes.
You cannot. Not in a spiritual sense, not in a material sense.
Just because you're 80-year time based doesn't mean that your thought process of time is even close to.
No.
It's silly.
So what you can do, the only thing you can do is perfect how you are living to the best of your ability right now within the confines of this time of evolution. Okay? That is it. You are not going to have step function growth. It does not occur. Because if that happens, you do not have the fundamental pieces in place to support that level of knowledge above it. You do not hand somebody a wrench and say, go, or you don't give someone a CNC tooling machine and say, go mill that plutonium for me. It requires such a deep skill set, a fundamental base before someone even gets to that point of perfection. Okay?
So our responsibility, let's get into practical application here on this. Our responsibility as an individual, our society, is to get into the knowing, is to tap into almost like the rock in the garden hose. Is allowing to get the rock out so that that information can flow.
Got to let it flow.
So that's our responsibility. And whether it's meditation, whether it's self-awareness, practices, this is what we're talking about. And then if you've practiced this enough, then at some point, the reality of consciousness, past, present, and future, I won't say catch up with you. That's a bad terminology, but it will allow you to not be reactive, as you had said, because you're understanding the totality of existence.
Correct.
Like, I'm here for a purpose. That purpose is this situation that's happening is aligned or not aligned, and it's insignificant in light of purpose.
Correct.
If that makes sense.
So
or my destiny.
Yes. So I am going to offer 2 gifts to everybody that is listening. Okay.
30% off code.
Yeah. 30% off code.
Alexander 30.
I'm going to offer you 2 gifts. Hold on.
I got to know this.
I'm going to afford you 2, apart from what I'm sharing here. And if you think about it, let's consider like this topic a gift. There are 2 things you can do that will fundamentally change your life. Fundamentally. At very, very deep levels. The first thing is when you are awake throughout your day, just existing, carry the softest smile on your face all day long. all day. A soft smile. Doesn't even matter if anybody's looking at you or they're not.
Right. Yeah, that would be hard to do. Yeah.
It is hard to do. But if you carry that, it will fundamentally change your thought patterns to equalize everything that comes into you. You will have to adjust to every experience, because if you weren't carrying that, right? Say something perceived negative is occurring, you wouldn't be able to adjust and equalize that energy. So use the soft smile and carry it every single day as a tool to interact with this world around you. That's gift number 1 I'm going to give you. It will change your life. Okay? Gift number 2. Find yourself a candle. Sit down in a dark room every single evening at the same time and stare at that thing for 5 to 15 minutes.
The flame, yeah.
Do that. This will allow you to learn to balance your thoughts, their flows, and concentrate. Something that I can almost guarantee the majority of you are really poor at doing.
Especially in this society. Yeah.
I'm giving you 2 deep, profound gifts that will fundamentally change your life.
So so here's what to better harness the potential of non-local consciousness.
Yes.
It's very practical right there.
Yes.
To harness it, like I have a wild bronco.
Love it.
That I've got to, I see it and it's bouncing all around. That's non-local consciousness. Yeah. It's not wild, but let's just,
I get it. It's bucking.
It's uniformed in unity. It's unity in its best. So it's a bad example, but there's a wild bronco. I've got to, I should reverse it and be like, universal. I'm the wild bronco and universal consciousness.
Yeah, exactly.
Has to saddle and ride me. But so you're saying with whatever meditation practice, I mean, Corey said yes, which I was like, she goes, if you're 100% present when you look at the dirt underneath your fingernails, that's it. Like, it's that simple. Like, she's like, why does spirituality have to be so hard? Why do we make spirituality hard?
We just get in our own way. And I've
it's
said
ego.
This before. It's ego.
It's like, I've got to be sufficient and push the rock up the hill.
Yeah.
I have to do, like, I'm this kind of guy.
Yeah.
I can't do anything. If it's easy, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I need it to be super hard and take like gruesome. It has to be gruesome. Like horrible.
You and I have gone through some painful fucking shit.
Yeah. You probably more than me, but
no, I don't know.
I mean, I'm talking like now.
No, I know, but it's, I just want to share that I'm sharing these 2 gifts.
I'm like Chester the Cheetah, bro. I'm chill as fuck right now.
If you practice those 2 things,
candle,
and
I didn't even pay attention to the other one.
Soft smile,
yeah, that's all.
If you do that every single day, it will fundamentally refine your life, your outlooks, everything that happens for you. It will change.
You'll be able to. I like the word harness. It's harnessing the potential.
Yeah, because potential is just energy.
Yeah.
How do you get it all into one concentrated spot?
Well, I think in our third density human, we like the word potential. Like that's an amazing word.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like Steve Jobs created Apple based off of a backyard party he went to where the Microsoft guy was talking shit. And then that just fueled him like he said his whole life, he just remembered that the egoic Microsoft guy saying, well, we're control computers. We've got this, blah, blah, blah. And then, whether you want to say Steve Jobs was whatever, but there was this potential that came out of him that he harnessed, hate or whatever you want to call it, to probably be the most influential influencer. I mean, what other technological device has the most influence on humanity than the phone? The plow, maybe fire, but now it's the phone. Yeah. So where does that potential, Steve Jobs is not unique.
Not by any means.
That potential and the harnessing of that potential can happen to any of us
at any time.
Yeah. We just don't want to take the time to understand it or know it.
We don't want to know it.
Yeah. Because if we could tap into this consciousness, we would all be like floating around creative, conscious, fucking badass beings. We'd have peace solved in fucking 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
No borders. Be like, fuck all get the fuck out of this White House.
Be so stupid.
Yeah. It'd be like, yeah, So last question. What are the next steps in your research? What are you wanting to explore next? I mean, obviously you're not done writing.
No, never.
So what is the next step for Alexander McCaig when it comes to your research and understanding?
The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take every single law of existence.
Creational laws?
Mm-hmm. All of them. More so than we've shared before.
We have a list, yeah.
But there's more.
Yeah.
And I found more. And I'm going to write about them. I'm going to write about them until I die.
So you just want to write about creational laws.
That's all I'm going to do.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, it's not just, but
yeah.
So that's your direction for research.
And how
that's where you're going.
And how they apply and how we should live. Philosophy is trying to come up with this idea of how we should live. There's no reason to have a philosophy, though. It's already designed on how you live. There's no reason to come up with some new thing on how you should live within it.
Yeah, law's a law. It's immutable. So it's like all you can do is be the Roman scale.
Yeah.
And just weigh yourself against the law.
Bang, bro.
That's it.
Bang. Nice job.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
But the pillar stays like
still there.
Yeah.
Thing's rock solid.
Yeah. It's when we went to Rome, Lee and I went to Rome, there's that what's the big one? It's like right in the middle of town. You're like walking around, there's like these beautiful buildings, and then you see this.
There's another one in the comments. Yeah, fuck this guy, I'm out.
Yeah. There's one right there. Sorry. Yeah, you don't even know the name of but I mean the Colosseum, all that shit. You see all that, and it's just like
Parthenon.
There you go. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But that thing just blew me away when I saw it. It's like, oh my God. Like we created this shit, and then there's like a hole, and then the hole lines up with they've got the sun and the moon and the constellations of when the sun hits exactly perfect to light up the inside. Like I'm like, or you go to Egypt and you see the pyramids. It's like, why aren't we tapped into that technology?
It's because people were better at paying attention.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Nothing's changed. They were just so much better at paying attention. And then we have confused ourselves and paid attention less. And so to us,
now we're creating things that cause us not to pay attention.
Not to pay attention. And then we're like, wow, how did they do something like this? Well, they were closer to the truth than we are today.
Especially pyramids. Come on, bro. Vibrational resonance.
Come on. Yeah.
I mean, water.
Oh, I know.
Getting in tap, and then unconditional energy. Like they were showing all these, like,
it's amazing
how people just had free energy.
It's amazing.
It's fucking wild. Cool. So we're going to get in next episode. We're actually going to go through the paper from Aging into the Past, philosophical case regarding the non-locality of consciousness. We'll also have a link. We'll put this paper, the PDF link in all the
Oh, you want me to put
shows.
it online?
Yeah, I think we should. Well, this should be peer reviewed, right? I mean, aren't you going to put it?
Oh, I know I'm going to get hammered on this thing.
But you can release it.
I can do whatever I want. I wrote it.
Yeah, exactly. Or not. You cannot. I mean, I could put some of it in just the show notes or whatever, but
we can share it for people to read.
Aging into the past. I like that.
It's nice, isn't it?
That's going to be cool.
It's got like a sex appeal to it.
Yeah. I'm aging into the past.
And people are like, what? The fuck does that mean?
Yeah, and it's like a Dior commercial.
Yeah.
Aging into the past.
Chateau Dior.
Yeah.
See you later, everybody.